Hello everybody, it's Phil the Miniature Model Maker coming to you in this video with the start of our Gundam Artifact Phase 5 Let's Build series. So for those of you who are new to this channel, I do build guides for all of the Gundam artifacts, and I'll put a link to that here as well as at the end of the video. Doing two types of build guides. One that you're going to see here is just a quick and dirty snap fit, initial dry fit, where I talk through the build, show any pain points where you might need to be aware of during your own builds of all of these. And the second kind are the more detailed builds where I take the ones that I've assembled in these Let's Build videos and go through and do the details like scribing and all that. Oh, I'm going to need to... There we go. That's fine. That's fine. And then the you might call them a final build. They're multi-step, many hours going through detailing, sanding, scribing, gluing, preparing for painting and display. But we have today a number 23 Zaku Cannon, which is this guy here, and that's the first, so we're going to go in order. And for those of you who are curious and haven't seen the unboxing, I only got one special color this time. It was this guy. One of them, one of the double Zeta Gundams was the blue color. In the past, it's been one for every 5. So if you get the 10 box, you get 2 duplicates of other random things. But nope, only this one color this time, which is kind of cool because that means I can paint and do other things with the rest of these. But today, this video, MS06K Zaku Cannon. And this is a 4 sprue model, and I believe we're in the 50 part range. Some of the others got up to 90 parts, which is crazy. But we're going to start here, and I'm going to leave part 40 off for now. Those are very fiddly and tend to be easy break ovens, easily broken. And just check the sprue. So we've got 2 mostly identical sprues, and I just need to figure out which of the parts are here. So this one. So sprue C is your left leg. Sprue B is your right leg. And one thing that they have improved on, if you're watching this for the first time and aren't very familiar with artifacts, in the past they had the parts going right up against the sprue. There was very little to no gate, and that made it very difficult at times to remove some parts. And now they've added a lot of extra gate, so it means my cheaper clippers aren't going to be as big a problem. So I'm going to look at this real quick, because we may be able to just take everything off the sprue at once, like all the cool Gundam builders do. No, there are extra parts. So I'm going to leave the parts on the sprue. So part 34 first, and I am clipping with the flat edge against the sprue. So it doesn't damage the parts. 34, 35, 36. $37. $37. Oh, these are much, much better than before. I can't even begin to tell you how much better this is than previous series. And I have learned a lot. 39 is up there. Alright, I'm going to leave 41, 42, and 43 on the sprue for the moment. No, I'm not, because looking at it, we have a construction order, so we've got to get part 42 off. There we are. And I know I said I'm going to do more detailed build guides. In some of these, where appropriate, I'm going to do a bit of sanding and possibly gluing. Some portions of these assemblies, it's just good to get it while you can. Like these sprue connections. I'll go ahead and sand them down. And I think I'm using a 600 grit for this. Now there are mold lines, and we're not going to worry about those for this. All we're doing is assembling it. And I have a cat that needs to get back up on the bed, and while I do that, I've got a very old cat who's arthritic in his hind legs and needs help getting up to comfy places. And I'm going to zoom my camera out a little bit here if I can. Now I can do that without screwing up the video. Come on. There we go. It just makes it easier to keep things in frame, but now I have cat hair all over me. Okay. Part 42. Good enough. And you go like so. Pop on there. And then the next step are these. And I recommend, when assembling these, to go ahead and do a dry fit. They're designed to be snapped together. My hobby knife. And it's just a good way to give it a trial, see what you might need to fix. modify gaps to fill and things. Because sometimes these pegs need to be shaved down, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's bad if you do. And this goes into there. And all those people that you watch who make this assembly go quickly, they've edited. They're highly edited. This is one of the big problems with the artifacts. Even though they're snap fit, they don't always assemble easily. But so far it looks like this is going to be an easier assembly than previous ones. Okay. Now we'll work our way downward. So in the comments below, let me know if you have ever built an artifact before and what got you into them. And if you are finding this channel for the first time, thank you very much for coming. Please do hit that like and subscribe. There's very little English language content for Gundam Artifacts out there. Not as big interest in it in the past. However, I think with the Gundam Assemble coming, there is increasing interest in the artifacts or just miniature Gunpla overall. And let me know if that's how you found it. I've got cat hair all over the place. Now 43. And if you got artifacts, what are you going to use them for? Are they primarily model kits that you're going to make for display? Are they just something you randomly got? Are you going to use them for a tabletop game? These little boogers are really detailed kits and have immense potential as display models. There are some folks over in Asia who do crazy things in a good way, in a really good way. I've seen less of it on from the Western audience. Yeah, that just popped right in. Oh, that's great. $41. It's going to go there. Then the foot. Now I discovered artifacts through a Warhammer builder. He kit bashed a couple of these into crisis suits for his Tau army. And I kind of got bit by the bug of them. They're just wonderful kits. If you like small model kits and you like being able to take your time and get really detailed with things and nitpicky, these little kits are it. So the cutout portion of it, part 41, goes upward. And there's our little nib to put that on. Okay, nice. Nice, there's another little connection point there, which is good. So far, I'm noticing substantial improvement in the design and engineering of these things. They were always good. Series 1, being the first, had its issues, but they improved over time. And now, I think this being Phase 5, they've had 4 years of input to learn from. And it's showing. And I'm just scraping here. I'm not cutting. I'm using the back of the blade to even out that little port. And here. So for those of you who are interested in getting these at time of filming, which is late August 2025, the only vendor that I know of that I was able to find this morning that still has the 10-part kit, you get the full box of 5 models and duplicates, is Big Bad Toy Store. And I pre-ordered these back in December of last year, and it's taken this long to get here due to international trade things going on in the world. So if you're looking to get it, go to the Big Bad Toy Store. New Type has the box of 5, so you only get 1 model of each kind. On their website for eventual, like pre-order type thing. Okay, so here you've got a tab, 2 tabs leaning to the left, which is telling me that this foot is gonna go there, but then there's your heel. This bigger portion is the heel. In the front first. Okay, and that's a solid connection. And this is where they've improved. In the past, a lot of the connections weren't straight and weren't completely solid. And it may be because I bought old kits and the plastic aged and may have shrunk a little bit. These are as fresh as we can possibly get here in the US. They just arrived yesterday at my place. There you go. Push it down a little bit. And that's solid. That's not a hand grenade like past models have been. Lovely. So I am I've got two. I'm gonna do it. YOLO. All right, so looking at the little instructions here, there are two sizes of peg, a long one and a short one. The short one goes on top, and then they go into these holes here. One thing you'll find with these artifacts, Bandai's engineering, they do things very specifically. So if it says the small peg goes on top, make sure that the small peg goes on top. They will often, oh, that's such a good connection. They'll often individually sculpt parts of these to make sure that they go at the correct location and the correct alignment. So don't force anything. If you feel like you're having to force it, you're doing it wrong, and go back and check the instructions. So other than that foot, those foot parts, which is still pretty solid, all things considered, that's a nice solid connection. Lovely. And these look like arm and shoulder parts, so we're going to put sprue C to the side and pick up sprue B and repeat the process. And this time I'm going to cut a little bit closer. Plastic is still kind of soft and is not deforming. Okay. So that's good. And because I have duplicates, I can go a little bit fast in this and do what I might call tabletop quality, where I'm not freaking out about everything being super duper smooth, everything being just right like I would with a display piece. If I were doing preparation for display, I would be spending a whole lot more time and taking much more care. But this guy is definitely going to get painted up for tabletop. And I think I'm going to start maybe with Battletech rules. Okay, is this going to be one of the pieces too? Yes. I've got a feeling that one of the versions of Battletech, probably the classic version, has enough options that you could customize just about any of these. And do their loadout. That's going to stay on the sprue until I'm ready to put it together. Yeah. See, so you can be a bit quick and dirty with these. I'm leaving a substantial amount of mold line on there still. But getting any extra bits of flash or gate off of it, any sprue connection, will help with the fit. And they may get in the way because the tolerance between some of the parts on these can be very, very tight. But if these artifacts interest you even in the slightest, and even if it's only for interest in playing Gundam Assemble, I highly, highly recommend taking your time and really enjoy the process. These are model kits that are begging to be an enjoy the process type of situation, because you only get one release a year, only 5 new models every year. So take your time, enjoy them. Or, better yet, get duplicates. So you can let that backlog build up. So you can get your model on the table, so to speak, and then take your time building the other one. Okay, and then two, yep, two. Okay, you're like that. You are this piece over here. I think. Yep, there we go. But fair warning, this is one of the easier kits in this series. The silver bullet suppressor is 91, 92 pieces, and the Hyakushiki has almost as many. And the heads on them are rough. This guy's got a single piece head. The others in the series, except for maybe the O's got that one cone head thing. The other 3 have multi-part heads. And I was afraid I was going to need these nails for parts, separating parts, but I don't. So let's go ahead and give them a quick trim too. And I've got paint underneath them. Here we go. Hobby tools are amazing nail care tools too. Okay, that's a little bit better. And this part here, 1, 2. Let's take this guy, but don't trim off all of your nail, because you may need it to grab the pieces. You go like so. You're getting the legitimate, honest artifact building experience here. No editing, folks. Get to see what it's really like. Which can at times be very frustrating. But it can also be very rewarding. Okay, see here? That is a bit of a problem. There is a little bit of extra plastic in there that caused a little trouble. Ah ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! I didn't do something. I didn't clean that off. Didn't smooth that out. There we go. Because that's where it connected on the sprue. And that's a perfect example of what I was saying earlier. The tolerances on these parts are so tight that even little remnants of sprue can cause issues. Here we are. That's better. That one's definitely going to have to be be glued later, and this is a really good example of what previous series were like. They didn't quite fit as well. I'm not comfortable with that. What's going on? Okay, folks, I'm going to take a little bit of time, give this part a proper filing and cleaning. And I'll probably even glue it down, because it's not playing as nice as the other parts. I don't know what's wrong, but I don't want it to suddenly pop off in the middle of nowhere and lose this part. So what tools am I using in this build today, you might ask? That's an excellent question. I have my hobby knife, my X-Acto knife. I have a wide variety of these Steady brand carbon fiber sanding sticks. They're good, middle of the road, good quality for the price, economical, affordable. A few of these Alexen brand 0.2 mil thick metal sanding sticks to get into places like this. And then my double-sided sticky 3M pad with sandpaper on it. Plus my file, my clippers, my toothbrush, and that. But that's the set of, what did I just do? I just got distracted and almost lost the part. So that already fits together better, but I'm not going to chance it. So we're getting some Tommy extra thin cement. And I'm feeling okay about putting that over the top because it's going to get sanded down. And I want to make sure the parts really mesh well, stick together well. And this is my tabletop quality one anyway. So there we go. And I bought all of my tools with my own money. I have very few subscribers, very few followers over on Twitch. My content is so niche that I don't get sponsors. And I don't think anybody will ever be interested in sponsoring. Because the closest thing to a sponsor I might get would be somebody to supply me with these artifacts, and I bought them. Okay. There is a little bit of what looks to be maybe flash here, but that may also be a small piece of something to stabilize. So we're not going to... Okay. That's good enough. Works for me. And then this little guy. And in the comments below, let me know, if you've made it this far, how interested you are in seeing detailed builds that can run 8, 10, 12 hours. So I had previously done the 60-minute missions where I went through and spent 60 minutes each video working on each step, detail by detail by detail, but it didn't get a whole lot of interest. So I'm curious to know if that's even worth filming, or if I should just go ahead and take my own time and enjoy the process. Feels kind of sad in a way, you know, weird to be doing something I could be using as content. That's the whole purpose of this channel, after all, is share my hobby journey. But we all know how the algorithm works these days. If all of your videos aren't of the same viewing rate, Lord Algo decides that it doesn't want to recommend your channel as much. So you make another channel. Fill the Miniature Model Makers Speed Build channel. Fill the Miniature Model Makers Detail Build channel. Fill the Miniature Model Makers Gundam Artifact Painting channel. And I don't have the time to learn editing so well. So it's not like I can just chop out videos left, right, and center. That's kind of why I do this long form stuff. Just from a time crunch standpoint. Is that gonna go? Ah, damn. That's what I was afraid of. I was really afraid of that. Okay, well, in you go, little guy. Guess what? You're getting glued. So there's a pain point for you, folks. You've got to be careful when you're pushing. Not to push too hard. And I wasn't exactly forcing it, I just wasn't getting it into its spot well. And this is ABS plastic, it's soft and does break, does bend. But thankfully, it also repairs fairly easily. And it's under a foot, so we're not going to see, not going to see that. So if you're going to break a part, that's where you want to break it. You want to break it where it's going to be hidden by something else. Okay. Second leg done. Now what's this? This is one of the gun arms. Or this is the gun arm. Okay. 31, 32, 30, 31, 32, 33. And that's you guys see over here on sprue C. And the pegs on this shoulder are a lot better than previous. They've taken criticism to heart. It's a lot more sturdy. I'm not even sure if it's criticism, and if it is feedback. But some of the shoulder design, the way it connected with the body, wasn't always great. Like maybe I have an example here. Now the Zaku, that was actually a really good one. Nope, I don't. Alright. 1, 2, and then parts for the gun are 45, 48, 49. Over here on sprue D, I looked for the shield, and there they were, the parts for that. That's one thing Bandai are really good about, in general, is keeping parts together. They may not always have the parts for the same step on the same sprue, but generally they are. So when in doubt, well, I mean, here's a perfect example. These arm parts and those shoulder joints were on one, but I didn't know where the gun parts were, so I just looked for the shield. And sure enough, there they were. But what you're usually not going to find is one piece on one sprue, one piece on another, and two pieces on something else, and they just be all over the place, and you have to search for them. They're usually well grouped, even if they're on different sprues. Alright, I think that's everything. And let's take a check. First time for phase 5. Empty sprue, into the container you go. I keep all my used empty sprues. They're useful for other hobby things. So that's a little bit of a tradition. Into the sprue container we go. Alright, excuse me for just a moment. I'll be right back. doing okay. So, for those of you who have made it this far, we are 52 minutes in. I think I'm going to call it at the end of this part. So about an hour is good. What's your favorite artifact? You know, from phases 1 through 5 now, out of all of them, what's your favorite one? Mine is the Goof flight type. It reminds me a lot of the A-10 Thunderbolt 2 or A-10 Warthog, and that's my favorite aircraft. Plus the model itself is nice. It was a good one to build. So I'm taking my time on that one, which is why you're not seeing it up on the channel yet. Alright, so looking at this, we have points of interest. You need to assemble the gun first, because this part goes up into the arm, like so. So you need to make sure that that's all put together before you put the arm together. But if you do accidentally do that, you can clip out this. Let me take a look here. This might be a good teaching opportunity. Okay, so here is part 31 in my hand here, and it's got the peg. That. And there's a slot or tab here on the end of this that fits into a slot on the hand. Like so. Okay. So that means it's a big no for making a C-clip, which if we look at, not that one, where did you go? Where did you go? I had you out as an example earlier for the unboxing. Ah, there we go. Okay. I think it's in here. Yes, it is. All right. So C-clips. This here, this foot used to have a complete ring. Just like this gun does, right there. In many cases, not all, but many, you can clip out, like cut a portion of this away to make a clip that will allow you to separate the parts and put them back together, which in case of feet and legs makes it easy for painting. But in this case, with this model, let me make sure this is completely closed. Because part of the hand goes inward in this direction, you're not going to be able to get it removed and back in, because that fits into the slot on the gun part. So no C-clip there. You're going to need to make sure that the part is whole, part is complete. Okay. Then we take this portion of the gun, put it in like so, and that goes there. And then there is a tab on the side of it. If the barrel is facing this direction, it's on the right. The way it attaches to the body, it looks like the magazine is going to be facing outward. And this looks like it might be a fall hazard, a loss hazard. So if you're not going to be putting this into a sealed container when you're done, between steps, glue it. Okay, now we have part 32. And there's the tab here and a slot at the end of the arm that then this cap is going to go in and is that going to seal it? It's not. It's not, is it? No. Okay, let's try something here, folks. Again, this is my first time building it too. And you are arranged here. Okay, so on part 33, on the inside, there is a cutout that fits around this rectangular portion on the tab that goes into the body, on the thicker tab. So there we are. And in past arms, there may have been another tab here, like a T, that you would go ahead and put the arm in and then fasten it, secure it, by putting this on the other side. But there is not on this one. So we only have friction to hold it. And for now that's okay. But that's a glue. Glue it when you're done. As a good thing for part separation for painting, 100% totally. But it's not good for long-term security. Okay, and then we are just putting tab A into slot B, and my goodness, is there a lot of detail on the inside of this shield. Okay. Alright, because this is fresh plastic, it's fitting well. It's fitting nicely. But if you get this a year from now, 2026, or even later, or if it's cool where you are, currently it's 75 in my house, it's summer here in the south, so the plastic has expanded just slightly. I've built these in the winter, and the plastic is contracted enough that these friction fits aren't secure. So there we are. This is video 1 of the Zaku Cannon build. I have been Phil the Miniature Model Maker. Thank you very much for sticking around this long. If you have, I will be making more videos. I might be able to get all this done in one other step. Maybe not. But every single one of these from Gundam Artifact Phase 5 is going to be built in the near future. So keep an eye on the channel, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Especially notification, because I'm not always consistent with my uploading. I don't always upload on the exact same day. I do Gundam Artifact content, building, painting, general tips and tricks, as well as Warhammer 40,000 for my Chaos Space Marines, my Tau, and now my Space Marine Terminator boarding actions, boarding patrol. So if you are interested in any of that, please make sure you get the notifications for it. And if there's something I make you don't want to watch, don't watch it. Don't hit the like. If there's something that you like, watch it, hit the like, and keep coming back. Now, remember, folks, this is a hobby. If it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. Be good to yourselves, okay?